Hi, I'm Mark Talbot. I'm New Zealand's APEC Senior Official for 2021, and in that capacity I was responsible for supporting the agenda that we drove through APEC. We had colleagues around the region spread across around 17 or 18 different hours of time zones, and what we had to do is shift away from a model that was based on having people in meetings for 8 or 9 hours, sharing lunches, coffees, dinners, cocktail parties, to cramming everything into a connection down a screen. We thought about it, and as New Zealanders, we wanted to show our friends around the region manaakitanga, or hospitality. And the way in which we wanted to do that was to make those virtual meetings digestible for them. Nobody wants to sit online in a remote meeting for 8 or 9 hours, so we decided very early that we were going to have our meetings run for no longer than 3 hours. The second thing that we wanted to do was acknowledge that the time zones, those 18 different hours across the APEC region, were going to be tricky for people. So we decided that it would be New Zealand who would wear the pain of that. So it was New Zealanders who were sitting up in the wee small hours doing meetings, whilst our colleagues around the region were by and large operating at more humane hours. By condensing the meetings down into these 3-hour intense sessions, we had to do a lot of pre-work to make sure that we were ready to go when we hit those plenary sessions. And that meant a series of things. First of all, making sure that the work that could be done at lower levels in APEC was done, that people came to the meetings prepared to operate in a timely fashion. It meant that a lot of the issues that we could resolve outside the plenary were resolved either through email or through a copious number of bilaterals that my team did at all levels. And then finally, of course, we'd lost that opportunity to share gossip over a coffee, and we kind of substituted for that by using WhatsApp as an informal method of communication with our colleagues around the region. We got the business of APEC done. We got some really big outcomes. We managed to drive an agenda that supported a response to the health and economic crisis and recovery from that, and that was epitomised by Prime Minister Ardern bringing leaders together for APEC's first ever extraordinary summit in the middle of the year. We focused on an agenda that was about rebuilding a better economy, and that meant building an economy that left nobody behind and responding to the existential threat that climate change represents. And then thirdly, we wanted to support buttressing the institution that is APEC. This is an institution that over the last 30 years has delivered a doubling in GDP per capita across our region, and we set it up for the next 20 years to continue that effort.
Join, work, grow, together. Haumie, huie, tai ki e.